we distributed 3,000 Chromebooks to Rochester City School District scholars who gained access to virtual learning.
Reinvented our business and donated 190,000 bottles of hand sanitizers to local nonprofits and community members when supplies were scarce.
Raised over $6 million for the Community Crisis Fund to help nonprofits keep the lights on while providing critical community services impacted by the pandemic.
Created a community warehouse to distribute 500,000 pieces of personal protective equipment so our nonprofits could protect their staff and clients from COVID.
Mobilized thousands of volunteers to pack tens of thousands of food boxes to ensure our neighbors had enough to eat.
I'm Lauren Dixon, United Way Board Chair, and I'm really excited that you're here today to spend the next 30 minutes with us to reflect on our community's resilience in 2020, highlight your inspiring impact, and unite to meet the new challenges of 2021. 2020 was a year unlike any other. And while there were some significant challenges, there were some really great bright spots too. We hope you'll enter some of your United Way highlights in the chat throughout the program. You may notice in some of the photos you're about to see that some people are not wearing masks. Those photos were taken prior to March before COVID. Here's just a few of the many ways you showed up for our community.
Hi, my name is Eleanor Oy. I'm a volunteer at the United Way's portal for the COVID-19 emergency response. I decided in October, after I'd been laid off from my job, to start volunteering at FoodLink, as well as also I found a unique volunteer experience in unloading thousands of boxes of hand sanitizer donated by Black Button. It's really been very rewarding to me to meet all of the wonderful people who work at FoodLink and also give their time and efforts to help donate food back to our community. The need is so high, and it was a little something that I could do and continue to do now that I've started working again as a contact tracing supervisor for the state. I really appreciate how easy it was to work with United Way as well as FoodLink to give some of my time when I really just needed to find a way to give back to the community given everything that was going on.
First place we reached out to was the United Way, and it was the need to retrofit our club to be able to be open in July. But even prior to that, just to help with us in terms of helping us feed people, we were getting donations in, but the United Way's Impact Fund allowed us to also provide things that we weren't getting through donations to really make a comprehensive food basket. Both our computer labs, our educational room, our art room, even our recording studio are all retrofitted with glass shields so that we can keep kids divided, and that all of the resources to do that came from the United Way. In addition to that, we have a constant need for masks, given the amount of kids that we have, PPE equipment. The Impact Fund at several different times during the pandemic really helped the Boys and Girls Club, but helped us to get what we needed to get off to a good start when we opened back up in July.
I first reached out to the United Way, and then they put me in touch with Mr. Mahoney, who's the executive director at the Boys and Girls Club, and the United Way was the link that got me thinking about the Boys and Girls Club. And that's the reason I went with the Boys and Girls Club rather than anywhere else. We came up with the idea just kind of talking at the dinner table about how COVID has affected everyone differently, and how we have been lucky enough to not have been terribly affected by COVID and the pandemic and all the shutdowns, but people living in urban communities have been disproportionately affected. And we thought we have to help them in some way. We organized this coat and can drive. We picked up about 100 coats and 150 canned foods. And then I think it was a couple days after Thanksgiving, we were able to drop it off to the Boys and Girls Club. And what really made an impact on me is when we were dropping it off, we saw baskets or bags with names on them with like 2 or 3 cans and a coat. Wow, I'm affecting real lives. I'm really glad we were able to keep it in the Rochester community. And I'm really glad I was able to help people my own age, because I'm never having to worry about when I'm going to need a winter coat or if I have food on the table. So I'm really glad that I was able to help kids my own age in my own community.
I have had the privilege of being on the United Way board for over a year now. And as COVID and the pandemic hit our communities, I was so impressed with how the United Way organization stepped up and stepped in for our communities. And it is really, it was really impactful to me, the Community Impact Fund. These are programs that are vetted, that have a return. And so I was really thrilled and very proud as a mom to be able to connect Rohan to the United Way, so that not only is our generation making that impact, but we're able to foster the connections for the next generation. There are so many individuals across our region that want to help, but may not know how to start. And the United Way did a great job facilitating that connection.
Last week, the President and CEO of the United Way of Greater Rochester, Jamie Saunders, Congressman Joe Morelli, and Jennifer Leonard from the Community Foundation and I had made an announcement to kick off a community effort to be able to bring together nonprofit organizations and community-based organizations from around our community to create a volunteer portal and also a donation fund to help support those who are most in need of this community.
And to the nonprofit organizations who serve our community every day but currently find themselves stretched beyond measure, thank you, and stay strong. Our human service providers remain on the front lines, providing critical care and support, and they are hurting. Local human service organizations are facing staff and volunteer shortages, funding shortages due to canceled fundraising events and closures, supply shortages, and concerns about the unforeseen challenges just around the corner. Yet, they continue to serve this community in remarkable ways.
So obviously we're in the middle of an unprecedented time in the history of public health. We are in the middle of a global pandemic, a pandemic that has reached every corner of our community. And to say that going into this that we were prepared is somewhat of an overstatement, because there's no way you could be prepared for something of this magnitude. And it's for this reason that it has been so critical that the United Way has stepped up to the plate. We have identified needs that we could not have anticipated, and United Way staff and volunteers and organizations have stepped up to the plate and have helped us in ways that we could not have possibly imagined. From the very beginning, when we were unsure about the need for PPE and how it was going to be deployed and utilized throughout the community, from day one, Jamie Saunders and her team came to the rescue, helping us to understand how we can best meet the needs, particularly in underserved corners of our Rochester area community. They've provided volunteers throughout the pandemic, whether it's through distribution of PPE, testing, and now as we look ahead to vaccination, which I think will be the greatest public health challenge that we will encounter in our generation, I anticipate that the United Way will be with us, shoulder to shoulder, every step of the way, to help us to identify all of those needs and gaps in our community that they have a long track record of doing on behalf of the residents of Monroe County. So, when I look back at all of the things that we've done well, and there are many things that we've done well, I think it's our relationships, it's our collaborations, it's the volunteerism and the sense of stepping up to the plate and being all hands in. I think that's what United Way means to me.
So over the past year, we've had the opportunity at Willow Center to work with the Synergy Fund through United Way to bring in a new partnership with Deaf Ignite, an agency that serves deaf survivors of domestic violence. This partnership builds on each of our agency's strengths and helps us to better meet community need. It strengthens how Rochester responds to domestic violence in our community, and especially for deaf survivors, to increase access. The Synergy Fund Committee not only funded the facilitated discussions with deep dives into our services, our programs, due diligence into legal and financial standing, it also asked key questions to help guide our agencies through the merger in a mission-focused way that really put the needs of survivors first and the deaf community at the forefront, finding true synergy for both agencies to move forward in this partnership. Over the past year, Deaf Ignite has become a program at Willow Center with access to all of Willow's programs in the hospital, counseling center, court, shelter, advocacy, hotline. We are truly stronger together. It's a 1 + 1 = 3 kind of situation.
We very much appreciate the Synergy Fund program and their commitment to supporting the community and organizations within the community. Our merger has been a long process with many different pieces. You can imagine all the different pieces of a puzzle that have to be put together. The Synergy Fund is a very important piece of the puzzle that allowed us to merge in a beautiful way to support the community. Our merger was successful because we had the Synergy Fund to support us. Deaf Ignite and Willow have the same values and goals, and we're stronger together in partnership with each other. We can share expertise, resources, and tools with each other. Our partnership is amazing, and it's all thanks to the Synergy Fund.
Hello, Rochester. I'm Heidi Gregory, the Rochester Office Managing Partner of Harris Beach. Harris Beach has a long history of community involvement. We give of our time, talents, and money to various causes and charities each year, and we are a proud supporter of the United Way's workplace campaign. For us, it's simple. We appreciate the United Way's impact in the community. It is rewarding to be part of something that has such a huge effect on people in their time of need. We kicked off our 2020 workplace campaign in late February, just 3 weeks before our world locked down. We managed to hold our quarterly meeting featuring Jamie Saunders and had breakfast with Women United. Unfortunately, we needed to cancel our happy hour with the Emerging Leaders Society. Our pivot from in-person to virtual was seamless. We encouraged our folks to do what they could to help our community during this awful pandemic, and Harris Beach rose to the challenge by increasing its percentage of giving and the number of overall donors. Our folks appreciated the need and took full advantage of United Way's COVID-19 online resources, the volunteer platform, and of course, the amazing representatives who support our workplace campaign. If COVID taught us anything, it is we are stronger together. We say that here at Harris Beach, and I say the same thing about this great Rochester community. United Way is a partner to all.
The challenge made learning about systemic racism extremely accessible and easy for folks who had not ever previously engaged in any topic about systemic racism. So the United Way helped folks take their very first steps in being the interruption. The Urban League of Rochester participated in the challenge because we're Rochester's civil rights and advocacy organization. This work is part of our mission and it's our process to help people do the work. And anytime one of our partner organizations mounts on a major equity initiative like the challenge, we have to be involved. The challenge was important to our community because the challenge prepared our community members to be better equipped to engage on equity-related issues and learn about systemic racism at the level that's required at this time now. So now more than ever, individuals and organizations and businesses have the moral obligation to be knowledgeable, empathetic, and action-oriented with respect to issues of systemic racism. We must be activated, and the challenge helped to do that. The challenge helped Rochesterians to move to the next step, to do some learning and some unlearning. but the work is not done. We have to continue to interrupt racism. And so you can go to resources like the Urban League's Interrupt Racism website and learn more about how to be a change maker and be an interruption through programs like the 21-Day Challenge.
I hope that one of the takeaways that we've received is the fact that we're battling racist, structural, inequitability situations on multiple levels, both at the community level, at the interpersonal level, and at the intrapersonal level. And I would encourage all of us to just make sure that we are very conscious on a daily basis how it is that we are engaging with each other and how it is that we're engaging with the ideas that enter into the self. And the constant scrutiny with the lessons we've learned to make sure that we're recognizing where bias is creeping in, where it is that prejudice and ignorance are creeping in, and that we not act in those lower spaces, and that we're thinking every single day in our workplace, in our family, and in the organizations with which we engage. How can these organizations be part of effectuating change?
Hi, I'm Julie Camardo, CEO of Zweigels and United Way's 2020 Campaign Chair. Wow, what a year it was. When I took on the role of the Campaign Chair for Mission 2020 campaign, I never imagined a year like we've had. But I'm proud and honored to have had the opportunity to lead when our community needed us most. I want to thank each of you for all that you did to make so much possible in 2020. It was so powerful having the opportunity to work in person with some of you in early 2020. And then I enjoyed seeing so many of your faces on Zoom and being able to virtually meet supporters and volunteers who care so deeply about our community. I'm in awe of how so many people came together this year to answer the many calls put out to support our community. When we needed masks, you started sewing machines. When we needed volunteers, you asked when and where. And when we needed donations, you gave generously to support our neighbors and friends. I am so happy to share that together through campaign, special donations because of the pandemic, and other initiatives, we were able to raise $35.1 million for the community that we all call home. Thank you. This includes each of your donations to the Community Impact Fund and hundreds of local nonprofits, corporate gifts, grants for major initiatives, the Community Crisis Fund, Rock the Day, and regional support from our 5 surrounding counties. It takes a dedicated, caring community to accomplish such an enormous feat in the face of a pandemic. And we are incredibly grateful to our partners at ESL for inspiring new and increased giving to the Community Impact Fund with their $500,000 challenge grant, which resulted in more than 7,800 people giving an additional $1.1 million toward this effort. Amazing. While this year has no doubt been challenging, there were so many amazing memories from 2020. From the campaign kickoff at the planetarium, where I was passed on the torch to my first official campaign chair kickoff event at Wegmans, which was out of this world. I had my first hybrid virtual experience hosted by the School of the Holy Childhood for Paychecks, where the event was broadcast to all Paychecks United Way representatives across the US, and a full virtual experience at Diction's Wobble. My most profound experience was at the University of Rochester Medical Center, where I had the opportunity to speak on behalf of United Way to some of the nurses and nurse managers. I took this time to say thank you and share my personal experience, as the U of R was where my son received a life-saving procedure 10 years ago. It was also an opportunity to thank them for their continued support of United Way over the years. The event was at the very beginning of COVID-19 for Monroe County, when we truly had no idea of the impact of the pandemic. And once again, I take the opportunity to say thank you to all the medical workers, first responders for their support in 2020 and now 2021. And I appreciate your continued support for the United Way community. Thank you again for building a foundation of support for our community. And now I'd like to introduce United Way President and CEO, Jamie Saunders.
Thank you, Julie. We are so fortunate to have your tremendous leadership, heart, and commitment to our community. In a year like 2020, you never faltered. You took our mission to new heights while navigating your own local business through these challenging times. We are so grateful. Before this pandemic, you visited many workplaces sharing your passion for United Way and our community. And then after, you were ready for any and all virtual opportunities to engage. From offering the Leadership Liftoff to inspire leadership-level donations, offering a delicious Zweigel's thank you to Leaders United members, and launching a Grill and Give campaign to raise funds and promote safe family fun this summer. You are a powerful force for good. I now have the honor of announcing our 2021 campaign chair. It takes a special kind of leader who will take on such a community volunteer role during a global pandemic, knowing the needs will be greater than ever before, and businesses, including his own, continue to navigate in this new world. For this particular leader, the growing community needs, the importance and significance were exactly why he said yes. A longtime supporter of United Way, a true collaborator, builder, and visionary, I am thrilled to introduce our 2021 United Way Campaign Chair is CEO and Managing Partner of LaChase Construction, Bill Goodrich. Over to you, Bill.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Jamie. I wish we were here in person today, but I'm very excited about the work ahead. I would like to start by congratulating Julie Camardo for her dedication to United Way as the 2020 campaign chair. Every dollar raised was so critical. Julie, I am honored to follow in your footsteps as the 2021 United Way chair. Thank you for all you did to help United Way and the community during especially difficult days. And I want to thank everyone for your support, every donor, every volunteer, and every campaign coordinator. Your work and the impact it makes is vital to our community. This year's campaign theme is Build Together, Build Strong. Everyone benefits from a strong community, but as individuals, it's hard to know how we can help. United Way makes the connection, allowing each of us to support multi-layered and coordinated solutions to our community's most complex issues and needs. This past year has been unprecedented and has challenged even the strongest of systems. Still, United Way has responded. Expediting resources to organizations, creating an online human services hub, hosting town hall style meetings on COVID recovery plans, efficiently coordinating support to those in critical need. No doubt, the wide array of human services that United Way brings together provides us with a strong foundation. But in addition to a strong foundation, a strong community requires ongoing support, and now more than ever, that requires our collective giving. With so many needing an extra hand this year, every single dollar you contribute will make a difference in providing for our neighbors and keeping our community strong. We must continue to be resilient and rise together, because together we can achieve what no one individual or organization can do alone. We have been through a lot together, and the reality is we will continue to have challenges, and more people than ever will have needs. This is a journey. Now is the time to come together. Now is the time to unite. Now is the time to make a difference in the lives of others and our community. And now, I'm excited to debut the 2021 United Way campaign video, Built Together, Built Strong.
Coming together is love and light. Lit like the night, safe places, create spaces for those in need of more space. To breathe, to be, to believe. We build on stable foundations, strengthening relationships, challenged by 6-foot distances, lifted voices, continued with no resistance, climbing on ladders to reach the stars we are wishing upon, joining hands and holding on with hope, perseverance, diligence, persistence. Together, we create, innovate, grow, build, support through donations, time, or words of encouragement. Brick by brick, heart by heart, book by book, hand in hand. For the babies and the children, mothers and fathers who may be struggling, those in need of financial literacy, our elders aging and searching for life with quality, we move on. We lift one another with greatness and with strength, built together, built strong, the United Way. Join us by giving at your workplace or at uwrochester.org/give.
Built together, built strong, the United Way. When I think of all we accomplished together in 2020, and when I think about what is to come in the most challenging year ahead, I am overwhelmed with gratitude for you, our United Way community. 2020 showed us what we are capable of under the most unimaginable circumstances. I am so grateful to local creative talents for crafting that beautiful piece for this year's campaign, which captures the hardships, the strength, and the heart of our tremendous community. Each of us is part of that strong foundation, brick by brick, that fortifies our community, doing what each of us can from where we are. Joining the power of our colleagues, friends, and neighbors to do what no single person or organization can do alone. During a year of physical distance, we have come together and demonstrated in no uncertain terms that when we are united, we can make incredible things happen. Together, we continue to innovate, build, and support. We lift one another time and time again. We live out the power of a caring community. It is this call to service, to volunteer, to give, to contribute, to help another person's life to be a little bit better. That call to service is the United Way. Be it a donation, big or small, volunteering in person or virtually, checking in on each other, or hand-sewing masks for frontline workers, it is the United Way. And it reveals who we are and how we stand in this moment. 2020 wasn't a good year. The racial injustice, political upheaval, a global pandemic and isolation, we can feel deeply divided. Yet when we look around us, we see we are in fact united in purpose for a strong and healthy community in which everyone has the opportunity to thrive. We see St. John Fisher students at Charles Settlement teaching older adults to use video technology to stay safely connected with their loved ones. We see 800 cards and letters of joy and kindness created by our Emerging Leaders Society for Lifespan's older adults isolated in nursing homes. We see hundreds of volunteers hand-sewing more than 15,000 masks for our human service agencies and Mask Makers Initiative. We see thousands of volunteers packing and delivering food boxes with FoodLink. We see companies, individuals, and groups, such as our Women United, supporting families and conducting toy drives to bring light and hope to a bleak holiday season. We witness the power of donations to the United Way Community Impact Fund that fuels sustainable grants to 81 programs that work to improve health, education, and economic mobility. a virtual community supply chain that distributed more than 500,000 pieces of PPE with our partners at Goodwill and RTS. We see the launch of Volunteer United, which mobilized nearly 5,000 volunteers to support critical community needs. The distribution of 3,000 Chromebooks to students of the Rochester City School District, the launching of the Human Services Support Hub to foster real-time problem solving during the challenges of the pandemic. We see support for legal providers and 211 as part of a newly formed eviction prevention pilot. We see United Way convening and staffing dozens of COVID task forces, from homeless shelters to childcare to eviction prevention and more. 2020 had powerful surprises too. You may have heard that your United Way was one of only 384 organizations nationally chosen to receive a significant transformational grant from global philanthropist Mackenzie Scott. Your United Way was chosen for our demonstrated impact after her team vetted more than 6,400 nonprofits across the country. This national endorsement of our work is only possible because of you. Your longstanding support ensures a strong United Way with proven impact and effectiveness over decades. It is important to note that this transformational grant is not part of our annual campaign, but a unique opportunity to transform how we collectively serve this community. We will provide updates as the planning unfolds in the months ahead. As impressive as the grant from Mackenzie Scott is, we should recognize that as a community, we collectively raise more than that each and every year. Our power of collective giving is unmatched and remains the foundation of what is possible as we rally to take care of our own. Just think of the $35.1 million raised in 2020, our hardest year yet. Doing what Rochester does best, you rose to the need, and we can't thank you enough. Today, we launch the 2021 annual campaign and call on each of you to join in once again to meet this moment, to be a part of the solutions and helping to lift one another. Thank you to the workplaces, the coordinators, the champions, and our vast volunteer leadership who make the annual campaign possible. Thank you again to Julie Camardo for chairing 2020, and thank you, Bill Goodrich, for taking on 2021. This is the time to rally together, and I am excited to share with you that several businesses are already building a foundation of support, coming together to present a $400,000 Community Challenge grant, matching new and increased gifts to the United Way Community Impact Fund in 2021. Thank you to LaChase Construction, M&T Bank, 5 Star Bank, and ESL Federal Credit Union for coming together for this community challenge and investing in the power of our community. We know the year ahead will be even more challenging than the last, and we're fortunate to have so many generous people like you ready to help. The arrival of the COVID vaccine gives a sense at long last that we are on the path to end this chapter in our history. We need your help. We need your help to take on the largest and most complicated public health response in our lifetimes. Clinical and general volunteers are needed now at COVID testing and vaccination distribution sites. More sites will be added in the coming weeks and will continue for months ahead. Sign up today at uwrochester.org. Beyond this pandemic, we know recovery will not look the same for everyone. The ravages of COVID-19 impacted us all, yet it hit parts of our community harder than others. Before COVID, we had the highest rates of poverty in the nation, especially childhood poverty, and we ranked as one of the most segregated communities in the country. COVID has made each of these measures worse. COVID devastated working poor families as service and support jobs were eliminated and have yet to return. Our neighbors are facing evictions at a scale we have not seen before. Our vital human service network needs our help as they are meeting the crushing demand for their services. As a community, we do not yet know the full impact that being separated for more than a year will have on us. The economic impacts, the mental health ramifications on our children, adults, and families. We have already seen increases in suicide ideation, substance abuse, child abuse, and intimate partner violence. These are the stark realities we must face together as we rebuild and recover. I know it can seem overwhelming to determine where to begin, which is why, when we all do our small part, it turns into something really big. Thank you for joining this community-wide effort. I remain filled with hope and my heart overflowing, as I know in no uncertain terms, we are built together, built strong. Wishing everyone a safe, healthy, and united 2021. Thank you.